The Celts were a diverse group of tribal societies in Iron Age and medieval Europe who spoke Celtic languages and shared a similar culture. The term Celtic is broad, encompassing various peoples and cultures that existed over a vast geographic area and across many centuries. The Celts are believed to have originated from the Hallstatt culture in Central Europe around 1200 BCE. They expanded across much of Europe during the Iron Age, spreading their language and culture. At their peak, Celtic tribes inhabited regions from the British Isles and Iberian Peninsula in the west to the fringes of Eastern Europe. The main areas associated with the Celts include Gaul, which is modern-day France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and parts of Switzerland, Italy, and Germany. And the British Isles that include Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and parts of England. Also Iberia that contains regions of modern-day Spain and Portugal, particularly Galicia and Asturias. And Central Europe, including parts of Austria, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary. The Celtic languages are divided into two main branches, Goidelic, Gaelic, languages. These include Irish, Scottish Gaelic, and Manx, spoken on the Isle of Man. And Brythonic or Brittonic languages. These include Welsh, Breton, spoken in Brittany, France, and Cornish, spoken in Cornwall, England. In ancient times, the Celtic language family was much more widespread, with languages such as Gaulish spoken in what is now France and Lepontic in northern Italy. The Celts were organized into tribes, each with its own territory, leadership, and customs. Tribal leaders were often chosen from among the warrior elite, and the social structure was hierarchical, with nobles, freemen, and slaves. The Celts were known for their warrior culture. They were skilled fighters, often fighting on foot or from chariots. Warriors were highly respected in Celtic society, and they often adorned themselves with intricate armor and weapons. Druids were the priestly class in Celtic society, serving as religious leaders, judges, teachers, and scholars. They played a crucial role in maintaining the oral traditions of the Celts, as they did not have a written language for their religious and legal texts. The Celts were polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses associated with natural elements, such as rivers, forests, and animals. Key deities included Lugh, a god associated with the sun, light, and craftsmanship. Brigid, a goddess of healing, poetry, and smithcraft. Cernunnos, a horned god associated with animals, fertility, and the wilderness. The Celts revered natural sites such as groves, rivers, and springs as sacred. Rituals and offerings were often made at these sites to honor the gods and seek their favor. Celtic mythology is rich with tales of heroes, gods, and magical creatures. The Irish mythological cycles, such as the Ulster cycle and the mythological cycle, contain stories of legendary figures like Cu Chulainn and the Tuatha De Danann. In Welsh mythology, the Mabinogion is a key source of tales. Celtic art is characterized by intricate patterns, spirals, knots, and animal motifs. These designs were used in metalwork, pottery, textiles, and stone carvings. The Celts were highly skilled metalworkers, known for their craftsmanship in bronze, iron, and gold. They created elaborate jewelry, weapons, and ceremonial objects such as torques the neck rings. The Celts built various stone monuments, including standing stones, stone circles, and tombs. Structures were often associated with religious or ceremonial purposes. The Celts were known as fierce warriors. They fought with long swords, spears, and shields and were often depicted as charging into battle with great ferocity. Chariots were also used, particularly in the British Isles. During the Iron Age, the Celts expanded into various regions of Europe, sometimes displacing or assimilating local populations. They also conducted raids on neighboring territories, including the famous sack of Rome by the Gauls in 390 BCE. The Celts came into conflict with the Roman Republic and later the Roman Empire as the Romans expanded their territory. Over time, many Celtic regions were conquered and absorbed into the Roman Empire, leading to the decline of Celtic culture in those areas. The Roman conquest of Celtic territories, particularly in Gaul and Britain, led to significant cultural and political changes. The Romans imposed their language, laws, and customs, leading to the gradual decline of Celtic languages and traditions in these regions. Despite Romanization, Celtic culture and language survived in the British Isles, particularly in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, where Roman influence was less pervasive. These regions preserved much of their Celtic heritage, which continued into the medieval period. As the Roman Empire expanded and Christianity spread, many Celtic regions gradually converted to the new religion. In the British Isles, this process was facilitated by figures like St. Patrick in Ireland and Street Columba in Scotland. Celtic Christianity developed a distinctive monastic tradition, with monasteries becoming centers of learning, culture, and art. The Book of Kells, an illuminated manuscript created by Celtic monks, is one of the most famous examples of Celtic Christian art. The 19th and 20th centuries saw a revival of interest in Celtic culture, particularly in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. This movement, known as the Celtic Revival, emphasized the preservation of Celtic languages, folklore, and art. The Celts were a complex and influential group whose culture, language, and traditions have left a lasting impact on Europe, particularly in regions where their influence remains strong today. Their legacy can be seen in modern art, language, literature, and cultural identity, particularly in the Celtic nations.